you can take my teddy, you look sad. The autumn rain had just stopped, leaving the park benches damp and the air crisp with the scent of wet leaves. Steam rose gently from the pavement as the afternoon sun broke through the gray clouds, casting long shadows between the tall oak trees. Michael Harrison sat alone on the wooden bench, his expensive gray suit already collecting droplets of moisture from the humid air. His tie hung loose around his neck, and his usually perfect hair was disheveled from running his hands through it repeatedly. The weight of the morning's board meeting still pressed heavily on his shoulders. At 35, Michael was the youngest CEO in his company's history. He had built his technology firm from the ground up, working 18-hour days and sacrificing everything for success. But today, success felt hollow. The merger deal he had worked on for months had fallen through. Worse yet, he would have to lay off 50 employees by the end of the week. 50 people who trusted him. 50 families who depended on their jobs. He stared at his phone, knowing he should return to the office. Instead, he watched the pigeons pecking at crumbs near the fountain, wishing his problems could be solved as simply as finding food. The sound of small footsteps splashing through puddles caught his attention. A little girl, no more than 5 years old, was walking toward him. She wore a bright pink coat that seemed to glow against the gray afternoon, and a matching knit hat with a small pom-pom that bounced as she moved. Her blonde curls peeked out from under the hat, and her cheeks were rosy from the cool air. In her small hands, she clutched a brown teddy bear. The bear was clearly well loved, with fur that had been worn smooth in places and one ear that hung slightly lower than the other. A small blue ribbon around its neck had faded from many washings. The little girl stopped in front of Michael's bench and studied his face with the serious expression that only children possess. Her bright blue eyes seemed to see right through him, past the expensive suit and polished shoes, straight to the sadness he carried inside. "You look sad, mister," she said softly, her voice carrying the gentle innocence of childhood. Michael looked down at her, surprised by her directness. Adults had learned to look away from his troubles, to pretend they didn't notice when someone was struggling. But children saw things differently. "I suppose I am a little sad today," he admitted, not sure why he was being honest with a stranger, especially such a small one. The little girl tilted her head to one side, considering his words. Then, without hesitation, she held out her teddy bear toward him. "You can take my teddy," she said matter-of-factly. "He always makes me feel better when I'm sad. Daddy says hugging something soft helps your heart feel warm again." Michael stared at the offered bear, feeling something crack open in his chest. When was the last time someone had offered him comfort with such pure intention? When had anyone last thought of his feelings before their own needs? "That's very kind of you," he said gently, "but I couldn't take your bear. He belongs with you." The little girl shook her head firmly. "Mama says sharing is caring. And you need him more than me right now. I can see it in your eyes." Her innocent wisdom struck him deeply. This child, who couldn't be older than 5, had noticed his pain and immediately wanted to help. She didn't know who he was, didn't care about his bank account or his company. She just saw another person hurting and wanted to make it better. "What's your name?" Michael asked, accepting the teddy bear gently. The moment it touched his hands, he understood what the little girl meant. There was something comforting about its softness, its weight, the way it seemed to absorb some of his tension. "Emma," she said with a bright smile. "And that's Mr. Buttons. He's been my best friend since I was born. Mama got him for me at the hospital." "Emma, that's a beautiful name," Michael said, holding Mr. Buttons carefully. "I'm Michael." Emma climbed up onto the bench beside him, her small legs swinging freely. She didn't seem concerned about the dampness or her pink coat getting dirty. Instead, she looked up at the clearing sky with wonder. "Why are you so sad, Michael? Did someone take your favorite toy too?" The question made him smile for the first time all day. "Something like that," he said. "I had to make some very difficult decisions at work today. Decisions that will hurt people I care about." Emma nodded seriously, as if she understood completely. "Sometimes grown-ups have to do hard things. But Daddy says that's what makes them brave. Are you being brave?" Michael considered her question. Was he being brave, or was he just making the easy choice, the profitable choice? "I'm trying to be," he said finally. "Then Mr. Buttons will help," Emma declared with absolute certainty. He's very good at helping people be brave. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the world wake up after the rain. Other park visitors began to emerge. Joggers returning to their roots, dog walkers letting their pets explore the wet grass, mothers pushing strollers along the winding paths. After several minutes, Emma's voice broke the peaceful quiet. My mama says that when you help other people, it helps your heart too. Maybe if you find a way to help the people at your work, your heart won't hurt so much. Her simple observation hit him like lightning. Michael had been so focused on the numbers, on saving the company, that he had forgotten about finding creative solutions. What if there was another way? What if instead of layoffs, they could offer temporary pay cuts for executives like himself? What if they could retrain employees for different departments instead of letting them go? Emma, you might just be the smartest person I've met in a very long time, Michael said, feeling a spark of hope for the first time all day. Emma beamed at the compliment. Mr. Buttons is smart too. He gives good ideas when you hold him tight. Michael looked down at the teddy bear in his hands, then back at the remarkable little girl beside him. You know what? I think you're both right. In the distance, a woman's voice called out, Emma. There you are, sweetheart. Emma hopped down from the bench. That's my mama. I have to go now. She paused and looked at Michael seriously. You can keep Mr. Buttons as long as you need him. But when you're not sad anymore, maybe you could bring him back to this bench. I like to visit here with Daddy on weekends. I promise, Michael said, meaning it completely. As Emma ran toward her mother, her pink coat bright against the green park, Michael felt something shift inside him. The problems were still there, but they no longer seemed impossible. Sometimes the best solutions came from the most unexpected places. He stood up, straightening his tie and smoothing his hair. There was work to do, calls to make, and people to help. And for the first time in months, he felt ready to face the challenge. The teddy bear tucked safely under his arm, Michael walked back toward his office, already planning the conversations that could save 50 jobs and maybe even his company's soul. Give me fully trending story.